Come on.
Oh, hi, we're live. Hello, how are you?
Do you want me to wear the skin?
How long have we... oh, hi. Welcome to the
Oh,
summit.
hi, Matt. Anyway, how's your Schmoedown week?
How's your Schmoedown life? Okay, well, I guess we're live, which is great, because, you know, we didn't even go over anything before we started.
Good work, Abe.
Welcome to the summit. Thanks for making us
We've
live.
been waiting for you 20 minutes.
You did say we were going. You have to tell us.
We were literally doing something, Abe. We were trying to get someone. God damn it.
You should at least warn us. In any case, welcome to the summit where
I told you I'm gonna start the broadcast. 10 seconds before I started. You never hear me. That's
well, this is a good show.
Start the broadcast right now.
If you would have heard me before, we would have. Well, I had something really bad to say about somebody that used to be in the channel, so I'm gonna take that.
Okay, well, welcome to the summit. This week we're unprepared for life, which is not unusual. This is the most professional Schmoedown show on the YouTubes, obviously.
Yep. Competitors watch us.
We have a lot to talk about this week, if you can't tell by how unprepared we are for life. 2 really great matches from Zipper Week. We also have some upcoming matches to talk about, including the upcoming Comic-Con live stream. It's going to be an Inner Geekdom Extraordinaire. 2 great matches, 4 incredible competitors, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're not going to watch that live, then you get to watch it in a week. I don't know. I didn't know where I was going with that. However, we got some good people to talk about these matches. Potentially some awesome people to talk about these matches. We'll see. I mean, we're all awesome. That's fine. Fine. Well, even more awesome people to talk about these matches. Who knows? Abe, the person who didn't tell us he was going to start the stream. How are you?
I'm good. I was not supposed to talk during this episode.
Cool. Good. Matt, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well, Kristen, but not as well as our sponsor, the Tango & Cash Blu-ray, which you can find at all your local stores. The 1989 classic starring Kurt Russell, Sylvester Stallone. It's not a knockoff lethal weapon, and it looks amazing on Blu-ray. That's right, and it is now sponsoring the summit.
I mean... Good. All right. Well, they're Tango & Cash. I guess perfect.
You mean the Tango & Cash Blu-ray, which you can find at all local Walmarts.
If we were getting actually sponsored, I would be very happy.
Like
they would
have Cash Blu-ray.
About when did we start the stream? About 2 minutes and
they are prepared for life.
They would have pulled their sponsorship because we're terrible. And we have Malcolm, who's not terrible. He's a good guy. How are you, Malcolm?
Do you guys see the way she treats me and Abe?
But yes, Stardrew says in the chat that Malcolm is the third awesome person on this panel. I feel insulted.
Who's the third awesome person?
There's only 4 people on this panel, so...
But yeah, this is interesting. Like, we're getting a whole lot of weeks of competitors. Like, last week was the Machine Week, this week Zipper. Last week was Zipper Week, and this week is Morel Week. But we're also sponsored by the Fighting With My Family DVD Blu-ray.
Why do you guys steal my stuff, Malcolm?
I rented Fighting With My Family from the library. We're gonna watch it tonight after we're done with
this. Renting things from the library, guys. 2015's Creed is now available on Blu-ray. You can rent it at your local library.
Go rent it at your local library. We're also sponsored by libraries. They don't have any money, but for some reason they sponsored this show. Not really. This is the most professional show on the internet. All right, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Schmoedown stuff. So the first match of the week was obviously a really interesting team match. I think that's the correct way to describe what happened in that match. The Looney Bin versus Loose Cannons. It was interesting. I don't know how to describe the Looney Bin. And, Loose Cannons, I thought they did really well. Everyone had a really great round 1, especially, Paul and this mystery Tom guy. And Zipper only missed 1, and then Video Drew only really missed 2. So everyone kind of had a good first round. And then, yeah, Looney Bin with a perfect second round. I honestly have no idea. We'll talk about Tom because I'm having a hard time with this person. And then, the third round was really where the match was decided because Loose Cannons didn't have the best second round. It was still pretty good, but they missed a couple points in there, went to multiple choice a few times to make sure they didn't give up a 2-pointer. But round 3, I mean, they just kind of got saddled with things that didn't feel like they were in their wheelhouse. I want to get your guys' opinions about the match. We'll talk about these characters because I think there's a lot to talk about here with Video Drew and Tom, but I want to hear your thoughts about the match. So Matt, why don't you start us off with this match between the Looney Bin and the Loose Cannons?
This was an interesting match. I think on at least the Zipper Aoyama side, this is clearly two new teammates feeling each other out, which I think we haven't seen like really new teams in a while in this Schmoedown, particularly like not like in 2016 or early 2017 when we saw like new teams coming out and they kind of have to. They had a good match. I think going forward, it's going to be interesting to see if they stay together as a team. I don't know what Kaiser's going to do about that. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting match, and Balloony Bin was they lived up to their name particularly. And I'll hold my thoughts on Video Drew and Tom, who's not Tom Dagnino, which I was both happy and also sad about. But I'll say my thoughts when we talk about the characters in this. But all in all, it was a as Barbara Walters would say, fascinating.
Only on the summit will you get a Barbara Walters tie-in with the Schmoedown. Malcolm, what were your thoughts about this match between the Looney Bin and the Loose Cannons?
Yeah, this match was interesting. Like, I had no idea what to expect from the Looney Bin at all going into this. Like we know that Aoyama and Zipper are both decent sort of on their own ish. I mean, this is, I think this was Zipper's. No, he's been in teams doing general movies before, but this is pretty good. I do not know what I'm talking about, but but it was a great match, and yeah. And I feel like Tom was an interesting standout, like on the Looney Bin side. So,
yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to talk about Tom. I really really enjoyed this match, and some of it was actually the trivia because obviously we had 4 very good performances from these competitors, and they're both rookie teams. I think that's something that really shouldn't be ignored, is that these guys are both coming into this. One of these people completely new, hasn't played singles, hasn't played Inner Geekdom, is coming into teams, and it's the first thing they've done. And they had one of the most impressive performances since Bibiani's first match. And there's our one for the mentions. Yeah.
I also mentioned Tom. So
we're doing good. And I was mean to you. So we've got all of our things crossed off the list for the summit today. We can just commence with the rest of the summit without thinking about our rules. Yeah, I mean, this guy, completely new, really, really impressive overall. And outside of the round 3 where they really just got saddled with, animation and family movies, which are hard categories if that's not your wheelhouse, because you can't just it's really hard to guess those things. I knew the family film answer, but that's besides the point. Besides the point. Yeah, I just was really impressed with these teams. Paul and Zipper worked really well together, and I honestly, this week with Zipper, I have been really, really impressed with the way he's played. I think this is the best he's ever played in the Schmoedown, like hands down. I don't know that that's a question. Just so impressed. He was so good. So yeah, let's move on, and we'll talk about we'll talk about Video Drew and Tom, because who are these people? Okay, so Video Drew's first performance in the Schmoedown in singles, I was not sure how I felt about her at all. I just really didn't know how to feel. And this week I kind of dug it. It's just different, and we don't get a lot of different on the Schmoedown. It's just nice to have something new to kind of focus on here. But yeah, I want to get you guys to talk about what's going on with Video Drew and Tom. Specifically, if you have any theories about who these people are. Are they lizard people? Are they robots? Are they cyborgs? Are they my microwave dinging because my husband won't turn it off? Who knows? I want to get your theories. We'll start with Malcolm. What or who or, you know, when are any applicable question are these two people? Like, what are they? And what are your theories here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to sort of make of them. I know that our very own Linus has done some research and he thinks he might have found out the identity of Tom, which I won't say here just in case he does like. But
The more you know.
Wow.
apparently, I said the keyword or something.
Ding.
but but yeah, these characters are really interesting, and if you haven't ever watched a call to action video before, you should watch their interview with Video Drew. It is really entertaining, and it's really entertaining. They really play up the whole character with that interview, and it really shows an interesting dynamic to what could be an interesting match if they decide to go that way.
Yeah, I also think, yeah, definitely check out that interview because, like I said, anytime you can get something a little bit different into the Schmoedown, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Okay, so Matt, what are your theories about this team of whatever they are?
Video Drew. Yeah, Video Drew. You know what Video Drew needs? Video Drew needs a good sponsor, just like K3, which is now being sponsored by Video Now. Is this technology from the early 2000s dead? Maybe not, but it sure as hell is sponsoring us. That's right, Video Now. Pick them up at all your local eBays and thrift stores. Did you guys ever see Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the sequel to the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes?
Correct.
You remember the group of people who lived in the old subways of New York and they had the nuclear bomb? And you never saw their faces, and there's this weird, like, cult thing. Video Drew and Tom are nothing like that. That's a pretty good movie. I mean, it's not very original, but it's just, yeah, there's something, and I'm not quite sure if they're a good something or a bad something, but there's something. Video Drew. She's not growing on me. I respect that she's doing something different, and I think, like Kristen said, it's good for the Schmoedown to have different things and try different things because we don't want to fall into a rut where it's just like all the same characters and all the same faces and heels. Like, it's good to have different stuff, but it doesn't always work. And Video, I respect that she's doing a different character. It just doesn't quite, it's just a little bit too weird for me. And guys, that's me saying it. And
You are pretty weird.
I literally am promoting Video Now. Like, I'm me. But I think it's just a case of, which sadly, they lost. So, but I think it's the case of just like, the more we see Video Drew, I feel like the more she'll be able to develop the character, and I'm hoping this is like a Smets and Kaiser thing where I wasn't too big on them when they first started, and then they were able to play more and develop their character more, and now I like them. I'm hoping the same thing because I like that they are going really extreme with it. Like I respect it more than I like it. But yeah, and Tom was Tom was the best addition. I think Tom was really a great addition because Tom, like the great Tom Dagnino would say, I don't see no fucking icebergs. I don't know. I was just trying to think of a Tom quote. Play me out, Paul.
All right.
Apparently,
Well,
Tom is the keyword.
dang. Well, I'm not gonna say it because I don't
So
want
what?
to get
What
that.
are you gonna say?
Yeah. So Video Drew's partner. Yeah, he was really good. Where'd they find this guy? I want to know. I want to
Just
know
what's
everything
his
about.
name? I
I
just
want to know
put in
everything
the-
about this guy. Everything. Is he a robot? Lizard person? I think personally that they're aliens sent to study us and have found the Schmoedown. Like this is their first thing they found when they came to the Earth was the Schmoedown, and so they're coming down. Their whole mission is to, study the human race to figure out if we're, capable of coexisting with the greater alien species. And so they've come in, and the first thing they see is someone watching the Schmoedown or someone wearing a Schmoedown shirt or something.
Like Tom Dagnino's match.
Sure. And so now they're here in the Schmoedown, and they're competing, and this guy has basically, he's somehow been able to get all the movie information except for family films and animated films, and he's downloaded it into his brain, and they're gonna win some matches eventually and make some friends.
Do you think they'll be friends with
Awkwardly
Tom
trying to hug
Dagnino?
people, and then they're going to go back to their mothership and say everything's cool because the Schmoedown's awesome, and they won't invade us and kill us. So thank you, Schmoedown, for making it so that we don't get killed by aliens.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question that everyone else is asking. Considering the fact that I listened to half of that because I was trying to figure out ways to put Tom Dagnino into it, what the hell did Kristen just say?
They're aliens. All I said, I said they're aliens. It's cool. Great theory.
Should we wait? Should we call Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones to help?
Or should we call Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson?
I think that it's pretty clear that they're just aliens. It's no big deal, and
no, they can live among us peacefully.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. They're fine, and
cool.
I really appreciate that they're around in the Schmoedown and that they're not going to kill us because they like us.
Do you think if they stay right here, are we gonna be here tomorrow?
That doesn't count. I don't think that counts. You're cheating. Okay, we're gonna move on from these from my wild crazy. I just really like doing tinfoil hat conspiracies about the Schmoedown now. I'm really enjoying it because people on the page are like, "What are you smoking?" And I'm just like, "Nothing. I'm just having fun."
Has the perfect thing about this new Tom. He said he followed Tom Dagnino back from Croatia. I'll buy it.
He's an alien who followed Tom Dagnino back from Croatia. I think that fits. That fits in my overall narrative.
No, wait. Tom goes to Croatia and he starts doing all his business deals. This alien lands. He starts to study this amazing creature and decides to follow him. He follows Tom all the way to Collider Studios. Why did I just hear myself?
Oh, because
a question we all are asking ourselves whenever you. No, I'm just joking. That was too mean.
But Garth McMurray has said in the chat that he wants Guy and McReaney to recruit Video Drew and the new guy Shandrew to make the Drew crew.
The Drew crew. Jeez.
I feel like I've heard that before from someone.
I appreciate it. That's fair. That's fair.
But one last thing I want to say about the matches, I actually loved the banter between Tom and Drew, especially when Tom got a question wrong in the first round, and I can't remember what Video Drew said, but she said something that was sort of chastising Tom for getting it wrong.
Yeah, it was the extra point. Like he got a perfect round and missed the extra point, and she says, "What? Come on!" Which is hilarious because he got a perfect round. Yeah, that was pretty funny. We should mention real quick. Kaiser said something about how he was gonna have a faction by Spectacular. doesn't he already have a faction? Like, isn't that what he has?
Or does
Is that
he?
not a faction? Is he going to add more players?
Well,
Like, what's
Kristen,
going on?
The dungeon's just a place where they study. That's not exactly a faction. It's just a place. This is the thing about Kaiser. He's operating on a different level and speed than all of us. He's like a speed, like Tom is like operating on like, you know, like
Ding.
amazing levels. And then
Sure,
like
sure.
Kaiser's like just below him, but they're both operating speeds that like nobody else.
I seriously, and I got this on Twitter, and our good friend Kaiser retweeted it, and I really appreciate you. You're a good guy. They need
Thank
to
you,
they need
Kristen. That was so
to do a
nice of you to say.
show. Him and Tom need to have a show where they just like sit and like bullshit for 40 minutes. I would watch that.
I
I'd
don't
watch
think the
them.
internet can handle that.
I think we can handle it. I think that that's exactly what this world. It would solve all the world's problems. I'm 100% positive that it would make the world a better place.
You know what? Let's do it, guys. Let's Tom and Kaiser. They're gonna solve everything. You know what? We got 2 more nations. We put that show on. They forget about their differences. I think this could work. This could be like the new like Gandhi. Could be
Sure.
Tom and Kaiser. Gandhi.
I'm in for it.
Make
I'm
it
in for
happen.
it. I want and Christian was talking about how he wants to build up the channel and add more shows to it, and how him and Brett are going to do something, and they're really trying to like make this a big thing, and they're doing all the behind the scenes now on recording days. I think this is all great, but the one thing we're missing is Tom and Kaiser. I'm just saying, give them their own show. Let him just drive around in his convertible, drinking coffee together, and I would.
Yeah, why don't they? Look, you heard of Jerry Seinfeld shows, comedians getting coffee? Why don't we make it like Kaiser and Tom get booze,
yeah.
and they just
Kaiser.
Yeah.
We don't promote drinking and driving, kids.
I'm here for that. I'm here. For
I mean, speaking of that, Kai's put a video up on the MTS page. There was him and some random guy in a car.
that?
I don't. Very professional.
In a car, and it had that comedians in cars getting fuel kind of thing, but
yeah, he's been posting a lot of videos, so I'm just kind of I'm into him posting videos, but I think that he needs more attention to it. Like, I just feel like, they're. Yeah, I don't think enough people are watching them because they are hilarious, and he's doing a great job being a manager, especially for someone who's a rookie this year, managing basically a team of rookies and Eric Zipper. Just give him some more love, guys.
It's impressive because listen, you could say, like I love Tom. You guys know this, but like Tom was like a developed person from like phase 3 of the Schmoedown of Schmoes now. So like when the Schmoedown started, he kind of just kept doing his same thing that he was doing. But for Kaiser to be like, I know he knows Christian and like all this, but like for someone who none of us know, he's never been on shows before, he's never been on Schmoes now, none of this Collider, nothing, to just come in and to just do what he's been doing in a very short amount of time is nothing short of impressive. So
100%. I mean, you look at just how he didn't really even have a faction. He just came in with Kevin or with Smets, and Smets just did what he does and wins matches, except one very unlucky match where he did what every great Schmoedown player has done and brain farts in something, on the question that is life or death.
Riley did it, and then he won the belt.
Harloff did it. Rachel's done it. Kalinowski's done it. Brienne's done it. Everyone at Roca has definitely done it.
I'm sorry. What did Thomas Wayne say in Batman Begins? Why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. To be a great family, you have to taste defeat so that the success feels great. I should know. I've lost a lot, and I'm waiting to taste success. It's coming. Tell myself that.
One of these days, you'll be able to taste something besides defeat.
But you know what I can.
Once we beat Future Shock, we'll do it, Matt. We'll do it.
But you know what I can taste? I can taste the greatness of Pride of the Yankees, available on DVD.
We were getting too good. we were getting too good. Things were going way too well. And so, yes, we had to make sure that we stayed as professional as possible. But I mean, I agree with you. I think that a loss doesn't mean that Kevin or, is any worse than he was when he didn't have any losses. Still a spectacular player. I can't wait to see him play again, which is going to be this weekend. It's going to be really great. I'm glad that he's going to be the undercard. And we have another match to talk about. We have a lot of stuff to talk about still. And we're really just having a lot of fun bullshitting about this match. But we're going to move on. Eric Zipper versus Haley Fouch. Another really good match, and another match where Eric Zipper just really does the best he's ever done in the Schmoedown. It's nice to see that after this last match, they kind of moved him away from that, oh, woe is me, sad panda Eric Zipper thing that was going on with him. Because I was like, okay, he needs to either like be completely defeatist, or he needs to like get over this, because it was getting a little bit too long in the tooth for me in terms of a storyline. But he looks like he's back. He's feeling a little happier. He came out to one of the most inventive, definitely the first time it's ever happened in the Schmoedown for an entrance. With this violinist who came out and played the X-Men animated theme song live in studio. Thank you, Rolf, I believe your name was. That was pretty awesome. I legitimately thought it was fake. I didn't think it was real. So the fact that happened was pretty cool. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I really like this match. I thought it was great. Eric Zipper, again, only missed one in his first round. Fouch had a perfect round. That's awesome. So there was a lot of perfect rounds this week. A lot of almost perfect rounds this week. And then, Fouch had, and they both had an interesting round too. I don't think it was, super great for either of them, but Zipper definitely felt like he was, kind of better at his round two. And then, yeah, Zipper just fought back. He was down by 2 points and fought back in that round 3, tied it up for the 5-pointer, and won it in overtime. Seriously, that is such a good match to me. To be down for pretty much the entire match. He was down for the entire match. And then on your 5-pointer after missing your 3 I believe he missed his 3. To come back and win the match. That's so cool to me. I am so happy that he won this match. I think that he definitely deserves it. Not that I don't think Haley deserves it. I just think that he's definitely worked hard. You can tell. So I'm just happy for him. It was a great match to watch. I want to see Haley back. So I hope she plays again soon. But let's get your guys' thoughts. So Malcolm, what'd you think about this match between Haley and Eric Zipper?
Yeah, I mean, this is when I've been waiting for Haley to get a singles match for the longest time, because ever since she came in last year's 3-4, like, she just came in and was really great. And this is one that I actually completely forgot until someone pointed out to me that both Eric and Haley were on the same team in Anarchy. So, so there was kind of a little bit of issue. Well, maybe not, but I think it's one of those Civil War type things in which it was great. So it was a great match, and Zipper's entrance had the shades of the WWE wrestler Shinsuke Nakamura just coming out, entering with a violinist, which I think was what they were trying to go for that. And I mean, even with the post match, like, they just left Jen with the violin. It's just playing along, just a lot of fun.
I agree, and I really liked your point that we, especially you, have wanted Haley to play in singles in a while. I honestly thought she already had, because in teens she's been really impressive. So I just kind of thought, oh, she's totally already played. This is, me and my memory just never remembering who's played matches and when. And I just assumed it had already happened. But for this being someone's first match ever in singles, really solid. I mean, she had her ups and downs, but most players do, and just really good. So I definitely think she needs a second match soon.
Yeah.
But
I
dang,
mean,
the
it was
rookie
also
class this year is so
it wa-
good.
yeah, it was also Zipper's first singles match in general movie as
And
well.
that's crazy to me because he's been in the league for so long. Yeah, it's crazy to me that these players haven't had singles matches before, and look at what they did in this match. It was just really a great match, especially for two rookies, singles rookies, just really good. Matt, what were your thoughts about this one?
You know who hasn't had a second singles match? Fauch's podcasting partner, Perry Morel. Why didn't she compete anymore, guys? What did she commentate? What did she do?
I don't think
What the
she
hell,
wants
guys?
to. I just don't. I
All
think
right.
that she doesn't want.
Is it something?
Hashtag we want more Perry.
I mean, I'm
That is
never
a
going to say
hashtag
no to that,
in
but
my
I don't.
life.
It's definitely her choice if she wants to.
Or is it? I don't know. I feel like Burnett's doing something. I blame him for commissioner shit now. So
It only just started today.
only just started today, but still. I thought this was a great singles match, and for two people who this was their first, they both have done teams, and of course Eric he's competed in Intergeekdom, but this will be both of their first singles match. Really impressive, and I really congrats on Eric for coming back, and he's definitely proving to be like someone that we should look out for. Like if he gets a couple more matches, he could make waves in the tournament if he's able to get a couple more matches and get like sort of medium like seeding. He can do some damage, and I think I really want Haley to get another singles match. I thought she was great, and it's just one of those matches where it's like you play a good game, but the other person just gets just plays a little bit better. All in all, it was a really good singles match. I don't really. That's all I have to say about that. That's from Forrest Gump, which you guys can now find the 25th anniversary on 4K, which is sponsoring the show. But I don't own a 4K player, so I don't own that. I don't own that disc.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for sponsoring us. I guess if you actually were sponsoring us, you probably wouldn't after this episode.
Yeah.
Kristen, why do you have no faith in us as a show and a channel?
The 10 people watching, 4 of them being the people on the show, I think would say a lot to the faith I have in this show. No, everyone in the chat is doing a great job. You guys are being extremely active. I'm trying to keep up with you all, and it's really hard because you guys are talking a lot. Garth McMurray said he thinks that the spooky horror aspect of the Looney Bin, Perry would fit in with them since she loves horror movies. I agree. I think that they're like kind of creepy-ish team thing. I think that they should maybe if Perry wants to manage, I think that would be perfect for her.
Yeah, I
manage
definitely
compete.
throw
Someone
in
just
Spring
get Perry
Weeks
back
into
on
that and make
Schmoedown.
a faction. Like a creepy horror faction. The other thing they could do is Whitney and Mark Edward Hoyk they're going to be back in teams, and they were also kind of their entrance was Hellraiser, so they're obviously kind of in the creepy nature thing going on. That could also be a faction. I mean, because that to me feels kind of like perfect. I always kind of feel like Whitney and Mark had this kind of like oddball nature to them, which is perfect because I loved it. But I feel like they would play well off of what Video Drew and Tom were doing in their match. So I think that's perfect. Perry can be their manager.
How dare you confuse Perry for Haley? No,
how dare I what?
How dare you?
Brian Nasbum said in the chat that apparently Harlow said on Collider Live that Haley is playing Ethan in New York.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's a big up. That is a big step up.
That's it's gonna be.
Are you Brian? I'm gonna have to fact check you on that. because
Also,
that is a big match for
don't-
someone who has a 1 or an 0-1 record.
Well, because that's my thing isn't it the singles match? Because there's going to be a belt defense, the singles belt, but then there's going to be the undercard is going to be one of the first round matches in the
first
tournament.
match.
But my
Oh,
thing
Garth,
is,
Garth, thank you for fact
what-
checking. That's insanity. I mean, I love Haley, and I think that she does deserve another match. But to play
but she's
Ethan Irwin,
0-1. My thing is just she's 0-1, so how is she even in the tournament when there's people who are 1-0 and like 1-1?
I mean,
hey, you know what? They're gonna figure it out, and that's fine.
I mean, it
you
could
know,
be scheduling that took some people out of it. So
Maybe it's
yeah. If they
people
can
who hate New
explain it
Yorkers
and it
and
can make
don't wanna
sense,
play
I'm
New
fine with
York.
it. I like Haley. I think that she deserves to have more matches. I think that she can.
That's going to be a hard.
She needs to prepare herself because he is not an easy competitor to go against. But that is a
You
crazy
know what
matchup.
Ethan is, Kristen? He's a hero and a half shell. Who could ask for more? The crown weighs high, but Mug is mysterious. T-U-R-T-L-E power. T-U-R-T-L-E power. T-U-R-T-L-E
also, Garth, how he just said in the chat, is like, hey, we sold 10 more copies of that DVD.
Look at disappointment on his face.
We should just make sure that we only promote videos and movies that Sam Levine was on so that he can get some royalties. So sponsored by Inglorious Bastards and Freaks and Geeks. But don't buy Freaks and Geeks actually, because I think he mentioned that he doesn't get a lot of royalties for that anymore.
Oh.
But he does for Inglorious Bastards.
Is it only
Anyway, look who just joined us.
Oh, hello.
Oh wait. What's going on?
Hello, Wild. Smets appears.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Wild
this is a
Smets is here.
surprise.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well,
Walking-
guys, we're joined by an extra special guest. We have the one and only Kevin Smets to join us on a break from work, I think. I don't know what's going on. How's it going, man?
Good. It's going good. It's kind of hot out here. Hold on. Just at work, and I got the call. You guys give me a lot of notice to be on the show, so I wanted to say hi and pop in at least as quickly as I can. It's a Monday, but I'm also really hungover from being on with the Action guys last night. So
That was a great stream.
yeah, that was quite the ride. We were there for 2.5 hours. I think we drank a half bottle of whiskey on air. So if you're
I definitely don't know how you're functioning after. Yeah.
And training. I'm working and training at the same time. Kaiser was going to have a conniption if I was there any longer. So
Yeah, that's a little crazy. So I know you only have a little bit of time to join us. So thanks. It's been a long time coming. It's been like weeks. We've been trying to figure this out. But are you ready? You literally have a match in like 5 days.
yeah, it's funny because usually you kind of get set for a match and it's kind of like sports in a way. When I would coach marathon teams, when we'd be done with the season and they would do their marathon and reach their goals, I'd always tell them, I'm like, hey, once you recover for like 2 or 3 weeks, if you want to do another one, you have the fitness. You don't have to start from scratch. Like you're literally at peak condition, so you can you can do another marathon and ride that kind of momentum. So I talked with KO about that after the match. It's like, when they blessed me and let me have another match in the undercard, that was great because I was like, in case, if I had a match against Hlavik in 3 months, it might have to start all over from scratch as far as my training goes and stuff like that. So it's nice that I kind of can ride that momentum. I'm not killing myself as much in the training aspect. I'm more focusing on my strategies as far as answering questions and how I'm doing recall and memory, obviously, from my big don't tell Peter, don't tell Harry moment. So it's more calm because I'm kind of already there. I prepped myself. I was ready for KO, and I really thought that I was going to go in there. I mean, I was aiming for a perfect game. Obviously, that kind of got derailed early on, but going into this, I still have all that momentum. Same with Kalinowski. He is going to be, Rachel's a dear friend, but Kalinowski is still riding that momentum. We both were because we just had a match, 2-3 weeks ago. So
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
been a lot of inner geekdom this season in particular, but specifically for you guys, I mean, you've basically had like match after match after match after match, and now another one, and
Yeah.
which is great for you because you don't have a lot of downtime to have to like get yourself back into that
Yeah.
headspace. So, going from a really, I mean, a loss, but it doesn't feel like a loss because you did so well. But
Thanks.
going from
It
a
feels like
loss
a
to
loss
this
to me.
live event, I mean, it felt like a loss to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it did. But going from that loss to this live event, are you back into that correct headspace? Do you feel like you're ready to go out there and give a good performance? Because it is a live event, so it's
Yeah.
a completely different ball game now.
Different ball game. I just recall, for me, it was harder in the short term the way I lost. It stung more. It felt like getting punched in the gut because I messed up, and it was my fault for getting messed up. In this case, I don't know why that bell rang. I'm standing outside a building. I'll move over here. Outside.
We've had a lot of bells ring on. You obviously didn't watch the first half of our show.
Yeah, I work on this street, and remember the game Paperboy, where everything on the street tries to kill you.
Yeah.
This street is because it's in a nice area of LA, but there's this one street that they have. It's just you can't really tell, but there's so much like obstacles, and I'm just waiting for two people crossing the street wearing or holding a giant mirror or a plate glass that I have to crash through. So we usually move our cars in the afternoon so we don't have to walk to our cars at night. And it's funny because like onto the left or to the east and west of this street, it's actually really nice. So it's just funny. It's a crazy street. No, but sorry, I got derailed there.
No, that is the summit in a nutshell. Actually,
yeah, I live on
you fit right in.
I work on the Paperboy street. But anyways, long story short, even this brick wall looks intimidating and scary. No, but I'm not rattled as far as I know that I lost on my own. I lost. I know exactly what I did and how I lost, and it would be different if I was rattled. I would be rattled if I got up there at Collision and just kind of blanked on a bunch of questions. I mean, I did blank on Ray Park. I get that, and I think that's because I answered the harder one of the two first. I wanted to get Sam Witwer out of the way, and then it was like the early lights, and it just kind of I blanked on Ray Park, which is funny. Everybody thinks I blanked on Witwer. It was actually Park. I couldn't pull Park out of my Ray Park. I even stop and I look up and I try to say, wait, who played Toad in X-Men? And I couldn't. I knew that I couldn't even pull it from that database. So it's crazy. But I know that I made mistakes, and those are things that I have to adjust, just as you would when you're in a game and in sports and stuff like that. It's a little bit of uncharted territory as far as live event. I did do the free for all. I remember at the free for all, one of the first things I remember is acoustics. Sometimes it was harder to hear. Like I wrote the name Raiden down, and the question was Raiden recruits these people for Mortal Kombat, and I wrote Raiden. So I know going in already, I've had a little bit of that experience with the acoustics and how I'm gonna focus on listening. But as far as I'm not rattled as far as knowledge goes. Like I literally knew that answer. I just screwed it up at the end, and Kalinowski deserves that win. I'm happy for him. He's going to main event at the Comic-Con event. But going in as far as my strategy goes, just like I said, my training this last 2 weeks have been largely more about the way I'm training my brain, which is a muscle, and training recall abilities. And I have a couple strategies I can't really share because Roxy will kill me, or everyone will kill me. But I have strategies that I'm employing that are going to help my brain kind of turn on to replay mode, so I can press play on the old DVR in my brain. So if I get to a part where even if I think I know the answer, I'm gonna retain that information and make sure that I absolutely, give the right answer instead of messing up the word. So I'm kind of riding that momentum. So I've been privileged that I don't have to start from scratch and rememorize everything. Not that I only memorize. I mean, it's just been a lifetime of watching these movies too, which kind of makes me dangerous. But the fact that I don't have to go through, some of the ones I haven't seen in a long time and rewatch them, especially the bad ones.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. So, to answer your question.
Awesome.
Yeah. Are there any categories that you want to be added to in the Geekdom in the future?
It's funny because people are like, "Are you on bond or off bond?" They're getting deeper, the questions, really deep to where you do have to study, and it kind of makes it not as fun to watch the movies. I think if they start pulling more movies in, it'll widen the waters and make them a little more shallower. So I wouldn't be against Bond. I've never been a big Bond guy, but it would be something that I know I've loved some of the movies. So getting into binging those would be fun. Video game movies would not be fun going into binging. That's literally a pile of steeping garbage, like most of the movies. So there's only a couple. So my answer is, if they put Bond in, like I would be of the argument they can't do it in the middle of the season. They shouldn't do it for a storyline purpose either. But if they want to put Bond in because Indiana Jones and Back to the Future are there, I get it. If they don't want to put Bond in and their reasoning that they don't want to put Bond in is it's like not the geeky thing, then you got to lose, I think, Back to the Future and Indiana Jones then. Or like throw them all in a weird mixed bag kind of pile, but don't have like a slice for it. So, but I'm all for more slices. Like I always predict that at some point they're just going to add fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah, I think that definitely fits. I honestly don't know why it hasn't been added yet.
Yeah, and it would be a lot more work as far as a knowledge pool, but actually it wouldn't. It would require less because there's going to be so many movies. You could actually just watch the movie. So I think there's positives to both ways. If you keep it as it is, it's fun to get those deep pulls. You know what I mean? That no one thinks you're going to get, but it's not fun studying that way. It's not fun watching a movie and like, oh, what's the color of that watch? You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff you kind of want to avoid. And I think the question writers are trying to avoid that and keep them more like fun and accessible for the fans. So if that means they need to widen the pool a little bit, totally agree. I'll back them. You know, I just need to obviously lead time a little bit, but I think it would be less work for the competitors if there were more movies, if that makes sense. I mean, not less work, but just there would be a different way of watching these movies, and it would make it, I think, a little easier for us studying-wise.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I think they need to add anime movies to Inner Geekdom because that would definitely widen who could be in Inner Geekdom. Like, you would be able to have Emma Fyffe want to be more involved in Inner Geekdom because she's all into anime movies. Same with some other people who, you know, their strengths aren't necessarily everything in Inner Geekdom right now, but it could be. Like, it could be more competitive if you open this up to things that are, you know, Inner Geekdom, but outside of, you know, your Star Wars and comic book movies.
And I think I agree with you in the sense that would give Emma Fyffe, like, she would have that slice on the wheel that it doesn't matter who you're against. If they land on it, you're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
When I was against Hector Navarro, I knew that he had big weak spots, but I knew that if he landed on MCU, I'd be in real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I elected to spin first. So there'd be more strategy involved. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think I could ever become I like anime, but I'm not like an expert. So I don't think I'd ever have enough time to be an expert in that and Bond and video game movies, God forbid, and everything. So you would have people that are coming in as like this is their expert, and that's how you see it in singles. Like, you know, Kalinowski will throw comic book movies for his slice and Bond up there, and then you have a 2 out of 12 chance to get it. You know, unless it's
plus
choice.
spinner's choice, so like technically 3. You know, if it's up
3
there.
Out of 12.
Matt, do you have any questions for Kevin before he has to? I don't know how long you have left.
Yeah,
but
I got
before you have to hop
a couple minutes here.
Okay, perfect.
So Kevin, I know that you compete in the fan leagues, of course, before this, but how has it been for you and like Kaiser to see? Because when you guys started, a lot of people like, I don't really follow fan leagues a lot. I didn't really know you. How has it been for in a very short space of time to grow such a big fan base? Like, people are pushing for you to be Rookie of the Year and all this. How has it been for you to sort of see like people get really excited, like at the Houston event when you came out, like everyone was screaming, like, how has that been for you?
I thought that I was going to, because I remember at Free For All, I was like, I've only had one match and I'm going to go out and no one's going to really know who I am, which it was kind of like that. Like, there were some people. And then in Houston, like, there's that video where Christian's behind the curtain with me. And like, he and I even him afterwards was like, shut. He's like, wow, dude, like, we didn't realize how much it's taken off. And it's a credit to me and Kaiser, who in the very beginning, I get it, it's early on and we get really excited about things. And, you know, the longer it goes, like if this was my 5th year in the league, maybe I'm not, but we're really accessible via, you know, whether it's YouTube well, not really YouTube comments. I don't look at those, that wasteland, but like, you know, like whether it's in Facebook or Twitter, like we'll engage with people, and our fan base has been, you know, it's a really loyal, it's not like giant, they're huge, but I mean, there's a lot of fans and we really appreciate that. And, you know, someone in our fan group, that we have a fan page, if you just search Trivia Dungeon, you can find us. And I won't give names or anything, but like he left this nice message today because he reached out and Kaiser was available and like helped him out through a tough time. And then he posted about it in the page, and I just wrote him. I said, hey, the Dungeon's family. Like, it's not just a fan group for us. Like, because Kaiser and I, like, we're brothers. We're not really related, but we're brothers. You know what I mean? And we bring that kind of attitude with everybody that is in our life, because we kind of want to instill that that family essence, without being the family. But so yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but we kind of knew, we were like, let's have some fun with it. And it all started with the Jay build, really. Jay was great. We were like, hey, no one knows us from Adam. Let's have some fun. And he was totally down to do it, which is just a great thing of, Jay. Oh shit. Hold on. Excuse me. Language.
Nah.
I think
We've said words.
I heard it. Can you hear it?
You're
Can you see me
fucking
again?
fine.
My kid's asleep. It doesn't matter what anyone says.
Can you see me again or no?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, my battery's about to die. That's why, because I forgot my.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, so as far as interacting with the fans, we've loved that, and we've just kind of created that culture with the trivia dungeon. But yeah, so.
Hey, and that's awesome. I love that. It's not just the Schmoedown, but a lot of this, Facebook groups and all this, have allowed the competitors and the managers to interact with fans and to actually bring meaningful things to their lives. I know, personally, I've had a lot of great conversations with a lot of people with the Schmoedown. A lot of them are good friends, and I don't, my life would be a lot different without this fan group.
Yeah.
And I mean, it brought me to all the people on Take 3 and some of my best friends.
We appreciate you guys too. You guys, I appreciate it. I know my mom does. She watched, right when I started, she watched all the reacting videos, and she would comment a lot of them, multiple times. And I'd be like, Mom, you can't comment that much. It's gonna get out that they're gonna think it's me, because it's oh, I love the Smasher, and I'm like, it's my mom. But you don't know, you guys, we I know Kaiser and I, we really love all you guys. All the reactors have been great, and anytime we meet any of you, because you guys put your heart and soul into it too, and it just makes the hard work worth it. And you guys do an excellent job of kind of putting yourself in our shoes too. And I think some of it's because you guys do in the fan leagues too. But I avoided social media for a week because I thought I was going to get destroyed for Don't Tell Peter. And when I finally logged on, the most negative comment I could find was, why does Kevin always look like he's going to the bathroom when he's on stage? So
believe me, Kevin, I've had my own Don't Tell Harry moment with Malcolm in our team match. So I know the feeling.
But
we've all had
we have those moments so we can get better at it. You know what I mean? And I've embraced it. I have embraced I'm sure I'm gonna get some of that at the live event. So we'll see. But we have a plan too. So it's gonna be fun. My battery is about to die, but I'll just say you guys have been great, and I really appreciate the support. And you guys keep up the great work on that show. And yeah, Comic-Con's gonna be fun. As far as for Adam Flavick, I think that he has weaknesses. I think he's very similar to Navarro. I think it's going to all live or die in the second round. Whatever he spins. If he spins on Middle Earth or Harry Potter, he will get knocked out. If he spins on one of his strengths, then I'm going to have a chance at redemption in that third round. So either way, it's going to be quite a show. I've always been a fan of his, so it's going to be a pleasure to go up on stage and perform and in front of that crowd, and for everybody else that's on the stream. I appreciate everything, and I'm very blessed that they give me an opportunity to compete, because I was really gutted when I lost that match at Collision, because half of it was oh, I don't get to compete live. So
well,
no,
I think his phone might have died, but
I'm back. I got a phone call
great.
coming in, but yeah.
Well,
so,
we do want to thank you for joining us. I know you got to do some stuff and recharge your phone apparently, but we're looking forward to your match on this weekend, and best of luck, man.
All right, thanks. You guys have a great rest of the show. Thanks for squeezing me in there.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
See you in San Diego. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
See you later, man. All right, so
I was this close to pulling out my Spider-Man 2002 DVD doing our sponsorship. I was like, you know what? I like it, so maybe I don't do that.
Well, yeah, but and also his battery's dying, so don't take up his valuable time with your Spider-Man joke.
Oh, our sponsors are a joke to you. Yeah, you walk away too, Dad.
I love that our entire chat is full of Action Army people, and they're all going insane because of Kevin's video with them yesterday. You guys are awesome in the chat. I've been reading it and laughing.
You guys can find it. It's on Action Industries. He was on their live stream. He does an amazing Macho Man impression, and we got because of Suture Chats, we got Ben's Tom Cruise, TC Legend, Drew's Jerry B, Gerard Butler, and Kevin's Macho Man having a conversation, and it was incredible. That's all I'm gonna say. We usually don't promote like other shows, but like,
Hey, you know what? This is
don't
the most
watch that
professional show on the internet, as we've said 5 or 6 times on this specific episode. So please promote, apparently, your random DVDs you have sitting next to you on your bed. I
No, it's not random, Kristen. They are our
mean,
sponsor,
they're Blu-rays.
just like HBO's Vice Principal season 1 and 2, which is sponsoring this.
All right, we literally have like one more thing to do on this episode, and then we'll be done. But that was a great interview. Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us. And yeah, that was a little surprise we had potentially happening. Like I said, we're very.
I was unexpected about that. Like, I thought maybe we would got a message before, but he just hopped on in.
He did say he was going to message me before, so I was prepared, but he didn't. That's fine. You know what? It made for it fit better with the show than if we had been prepared for anything. All right, so let's move on to our predictions for this week. So this week, the first match already dropped, but obviously I was working today. Well, maybe not obviously, but I do work. I was working today and then prepared for the show and then did the show, and so that's all I've had time to do today. I assume that you guys haven't had a chance.
No, I was watching an Executive Decision with Kurt Russell instead of Schmoedown. Mostly because one, I didn't know was dropping today because popular contrary belief, I don't spend all my time on Facebook.
Oh, it's crazy.
Two, I also knew that we probably weren't going to cover it tonight, so I was like, Kurt Russell, Schmoedown, Kurt Russell. Maybe if people spun and actually stuck with Kurt Russell, I'd care more. Guys,
well, let's figure out what's going on with this match. So obviously we haven't watched it. So in the chat, if you guys could not spoil it, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. You guys can say it's great. That's fine. It's, it is what it is.
Actually, that is a spoiler because now I know it's not a shitty match.
Hey,
Right.
it could still be, and they're just trying to throw us. It's a smoke screen. So, okay, what's your predictions for this match between Founding Fathers and Corruption, Matt?
Oh, it's just you and me. Founding Fathers versus Corruption. It's very tough. I think Corruption's going to do it, and I think it's just simply because I like Founding Fathers, but I think that I don't want to sound like a dick when I say this, but Herb Brooks said it in Miracle. He said, dream teams fail because they rely solely on the individual. I think that Roca and I know they're like, what are they? They're like 2-1 or 3-1 or something. I just think that Chance and Mike work better together. Whereas I think Roca and Morel they're great singles competitors, but I'm not sure if they work really great as a team. Whereas I think just Chance and Mike sort of balance each other out more, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Like again, actually, because they were part of the famous Founding Fathers match in the Anarchy tournament.
Yeah.
Again, I like Founding Fathers a lot. I just think Corruption's better balanced, and I think that's gonna bring them the victory this time.
That's an interesting take. I don't know that I've seen anyone kind of make that point where, Roca and Morel aren't great teammates together.
Like when you look at Nos
you didn't
and
really
Roca on top 10, like Nos
they
wasn't
great as they totally were. They gelled so well, and I get what you're saying about Morel and Roca not. They feel like two individuals sometimes.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. Like they're both great in singles. It's just like you look at the great teams, the ones that have worked. Those are the ones where it's just like the camaraderie and this. And I don't know. I like Founding Fathers a lot as a team. It's something I've been watching a lot of old matches. I've been watching. I actually was watching a bunch of top 10 matches, and then I watched Founding Fathers, and it's like just seeing the Roca who played with Nos and one who plays with Morel are two separate Rocas to me. Like,
yeah, I felt like he was definitely more comfortable with what Matt knew and didn't know, and I think that's part of what you're seeing is you're seeing him not knowing if Dan is going to get it or not. And a lot of that is just how comfortable and familiar you are with your partner. And, Nost and Roka do the top 10 show together. They know what each other have seen and not, they know a lot about their movie viewing, and Roka knows what he can count on Nost to know.
Like, he knew animation. He was
Absolutely.
Matt has my back on this. But I think that's something, I think this is just thing people don't understand, is that, like, not to say that they're not friends, but, like, Dan's busy with Screen Junkies. John's busy with Collider and all the stuff he does. They don't really have, again, I'm not going to speak, but, like, they probably don't have a lot of time to sit down and hang out and be like, what are you studying? What do you know? What do you not know? Like, yeah. Whereas I think Chance and Mike, it's a little different. Like, I just...
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
No.
I get it. And Malcolm's bored, so we'll let him do his predictions in a second. But I definitely get your point. I don't disagree with you, because you can see that where they kind of act a little bit like individuals when they play. But when you have two players that are that good on a team, it's hard to, even if they don't gel as well as someone else might, they're still just really, really good. So it's hard to count them out for anything, even though Corruption might have a little bit of an edge with.
It's the current champ and the former champ on the team together.
Sure. I personally think Founding Fathers are going to win. I think that they've got a lot going into this match. Like, they've got a lot to prove after the last match with Corruption. They don't want that to happen again. So, Malcolm, what's your prediction for this match?
I think Corruption's going to take out the Founding Fathers. I think nothing against Founding Fathers. I think a lot of Dan and Roka are really similar when it comes to strengths, and quite often I think when you've got similar strengths, it doesn't work out, because I think Mike and Chance, they've got enough differences in their strengths that can balance out. So
yeah, for sure. I like I said, I think it's going to be Founding Fathers. I think that they just don't want another loss against Corruption. I think that they are done with losing to Corruption. In my brain, I would prefer that they don't lose to Corruption. But at the same time, I also kind of don't want them going up against the Shire Wolves for the belt. So
sure.
I don't know. But the next match is apparently it's Morel week. We're just going to do weeks of competitors from now on. I have no problems with this.
That's just an interesting way of Schmoedown works sometimes.
You know what? But I get
Where
it,
are we
though,
getting
because
Riley week?
they're only filming now on Saturdays, and so whoever shows up gets their matches, and they're gonna film it. If Morel's in studio, they're gonna film both of his matches while he's there, probably.
Mark Riley in studio Monday to Friday. Where's his matches? Burnett, I'm blaming you now. Where's his matches, Burnett?
Well, okay. Well, yeah. So we got Paul Aoyama versus Dan Morel on Friday for the singles belt. This match has me so nervous because I am a fan of Dan Morel. I think that he's great. I think that he's great in the Schmoedown. I think that he's great just overall. I kind of want him to keep his belt, but at the same time, like, Paul is really scary, and you saw a little bit of weakness. It's kind of one of the first times you've seen a lot of weakness with Paul in this teams match that happened, and it wasn't even that much weakness. It was kind of just like one thing, and I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't know musicals that well. So study up on your musicals, I guess, Dan Morel, and hope that he hits musicals on the wheel. I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. You saw a little bit of it with that Clint Eastwood stuff. He didn't know Pale Rider, and that. Oh, I was yelling at the screen, literally yelling at the screen. It's Pale Rider. It's Pale Rider. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of weakness there that hopefully Dan can exploit. But at the same time, I think Paul's really dangerous. I know a lot of the people watching this want Paul to win. All the best to Paul. I just am more of a fan of Dan Morel. So this is a difficult call for me, guys. I'm going to hit Morel on this one. But Malcolm, who do you think's winning this one?
I mean, I think Aoyama will beat Dan and then Dan will use his free-fall win to get an instant rematch on the same day and probably still lose. But
Oh wow.
yeah, I mean, Paul is a scarily good, and I think he has what it takes to take the belt from Dan. And I think if he beats Dan, I think he's probably a lock for Rookie of the Year at this point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unless Smets can, by the end of the year, get the Inner Geekdom belt, I think that that's the only way that there could be any contention for who gets Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I think if Paul gets the belt, it's kind of over in
Paul
terms
gets
of
the belt
that.
and Kevin gets the belt. It's
Oh,
gonna
it's
come down to
a fist
who
fight.
defends the belt.
And I would put my money on Smets in a fist fight. So
Yes, I put Spencer in a fist fight against like 95% of people who compete in the Schmoedown.
that's fair. That's fair. Matt, why don't you give us your prediction on this Morel Aoyama match? No, you don't want to? All right.
No. You guys know me. I am not a Morel fan by any stretch of the imagination.
You don't say.
I also, Paul's fine. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of his. Good competitor. So this is like one of those, whoever wins. I got my money on Morel just because I think Paul has shown he has a good knowledge base, but I think it's something. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just I think Morel is just more seasoned with the Schmoedown. I feel like this is going to be one of those times where that comes in handy. And there's nothing against Paul. Again, I know he can be in the fan leagues. Again, it's just one of these, feelings. I just have Morel's going to hold on to the belt and then lose it at the New York event to Ben Bateman.
Jeez. So here's my thing, because it's either going to be Jeff Snyder, Ben Bateman, or who's the third?
Mike.
Kalinowski.
Oh, Kalinowski.
Jeff
For
Bateman
singles. Who
Snyder.
Possibly. So if Mike or Paul win, for me, I think that not Mike or Paul, if Morel or Paul win. For me, I think that technically any of them have a chance of beating Morel. And I say that with the most respect for him, but I just know that he has had bad games and lost matches he shouldn't have lost before, especially with a player who can get in your head. And you look at those players, and all three of them are players that are
get in your head.
Players' heads. And that is one of Morel's only weaknesses, really, is that if he gets really frustrated with the other competitor,
frustration is his kryptonite.
Really
it's his
mess
kryptonite.
him up. That's why he lost to Andrew Guy, honestly, is just that Andrew Guy was so distracting for him that he couldn't focus on the match. So for me, I don't think he has a lot to worry about that with Paul, because I think Paul is a little too quiet to do that yet. He needs to work on it, because that's a great strategy to have as a heel. But you look at any of those three guys, I think that they could take it from Dan Morel if they play their cards right.
And particularly because they'll be doing it on live streaming.
Yeah.
I think that too.
Yeah. Malcolm, what you want to say?
In saying that, Kaiser could get into Dan's head for Paul.
That's true, but I think that there's the reason that Dan
it has to be at the table.
It was during the match. Andrew was
Drew.
so
if you go back
distracted.
to that match, it was Drew, and this is just something him and Ben and Kalinowski certainly, and of course Snyder is one of the classic people, and like 2016 Roka, where it's not the promos, it's not the stuff before the match, it's not the walking out, it's the small quick comments right when something happens, like when you use a JTE rule, you're using a second JTE rule there, like it's that stuff that it and it's you can't teach it.
Mm-hmm.
And Drew was just on game, both on his trivia and also on his character, to where, and that is Morel's kryptonite is.
Yep.
And again, it's not something you can prepare for.
Oh no, it's really not.
It's quick of the moment. It's you find that opening and you just find the way to just stab the knife and then just twist it. And then it's nothing. No disrespect to Morel. Again, he's he's held the belt tons of times. He's amazing. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I can understand why it's a kryptonite. It happens to me too. I had it in the family when I competed, where it's people would just be talking, and I'd be more focused on that than the trivia. Like it's just something, and I think that's why I think Paul hasn't shown that he has that, and I don't think he's going to bring that out in this match, and that's why I think at the New York event, any of the 3 guys he's going up against, particularly like a Bateman, a Kalinowski, in a live setting can really play to that. And I think also because they're good with trivia, it's the combination of the two things that,
It's really another Packers.
I on the flip side of that, Paul, I don't know will have the same struggle. Obviously, it being a live event could do something to his strategy, right? Because he's never done a live event like that before. He was in free for all, but it's a completely different ball game.
It's going to be interesting depending on who's the defending champ and who's the number 1 contender. It's going to be really interesting to see if it's Morel playing whoever or if it's Aoyama. Like honestly, I'm really, really excited for this. It's because it's not only do we find out who the defending champ is going to be, but it's also like who's going to be playing. And I'm so excited I get to be there. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, one match I'll be interested to see if things work out is Paul defeating Dan and being the defending champion, and Kalinowski because I mean. You've got that rivalry between Corruption and
that would be pretty cool.
And the Dungeon, and Paul's already beaten Kalinowski's partner.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there's a lot to think about with who wins this belt and who gets to go up against whoever has the belts next. It's a kind of, I mean, definitely there's a lot to predict here, but we are going to move on to just our last thing, talking about the live stream. I think all of us want Smets to win, because he was on our video, but also because he's a good guy and he scares me. Please don't. I'm never going to say he's going to lose because he scares me. It's true. He doesn't scare me. He's a nice guy. So yeah, I think Smets is going to win. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Smets is going to win as well. And I mean, like, I think it's a case of, like, as he said, like, if you're playing sort of constantly, you can keep that. But if you have a break, because it's been a while since Adam's been back in the Schmoedown, so it's going to be interesting there to see what's happened.
Yep. And Matt, what about you, man?
So what happened to Rocky 3 Kids? Let's remember. Rocky lost his match against Clubber Lang, got the shit kicked out of him and everything, and then what happened when he came back? He got that Eye of the Tiger back, the edge. What did he do? He beat him inside of 3 rounds. I don't think it's going to even make it to 3 rounds. I think Kevin just had, like we've said before, he had a brain fart. Happens to the greats, and I think he's going to come back swinging because he was preparing for Kalinowski. And I'm not trying to be mean to Halavic, but Halavic ain't no Kalinowski in Inner Geekdom. It's just like, again, we were saying it before Kevin's match against Mike. Mike was the best person not holding the belt in Inner Geekdom that wasn't named Kevin Smets. And so I think Kevin, he's already prepared for that. And I think Adam is great, but I think Adam's shown to have weak points in round 2, whereas Kevin, really, there's no slices on the wheel where he can't sort of do really well. And I think that's where this is going to be won. So yeah, I think
it's a lot like his match against Navarro, where he knew that if Navarro got comic book movies, he would be really, really difficult to face off against. And I think that's the same with Lavic. It's really just which categories he spins in round 2 and that round 3, which categories he gets in there, that'll kind of determine the fate of this match, because Lavic is not a pushover in Inner Geekdom. And I know he has a little bit of, he definitely has more gaps in knowledge for Inner Geekdom than someone like Kevin does. But at the same time, if you get that right category, he can be really, really dangerous. So we're going to see what happens, obviously. But I do think that, Smets is just a little bit more overall, he knows more about
He's more well-rounded.
Yes.
Than
Thank you. Thank you for the words that were not making it to my mouth.
I got you.
Thank you, son.
Plot twist. Adam's going to hire Robert Parker to dress up like him and to face off against Kevin.
Yeah, that'd be really good. That would be a good match. The other thing you have to think about is that Adam's going to be really busy because he does stuff at Comic-Con for his channel, so they're going to be kind of busy, and he won't have a lot of like. I don't know what Kevin's going to be doing during Comic-Con. Potentially just going to Comic-Con.
You know what? To anyone at San Diego Comic-Con, just go to the. I know I was there last year.
Go watch movies.
Go to the
study
farthest corners, and you'll find Kevin just standing up against that corner, just reciting comic book and
he'll just be like quoting Lord of the Rings front to back.
And Kaiser will be standing there,
never forgetting the green dragon again.
Like, all they sell there, so Kaiser will just be like, "That's it. That's right. Do that. That's it."
Yeah, so last match to talk about is obviously just this little tiny match. Rachel Cushing versus Mike Kalinowski. No big deal. No one's feelings are going to get hurt.
First timers.
Who are these people?
I'm kidding. This is lines are gonna be drawn in the sand here.
Yeah, this match is gonna be insane. I honestly think that Mike is at his like peak for Inagita right now. Like, I mean, he might just continue going. He might not go down, which is the definition of a peak, is that eventually it will go down. But I mean, right now he's the best he's ever been in Innergeekdom, and Rachel hasn't had a match in a hot minute. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes away with the match. I'm kind of done, playing the Mike's going to lose every match game. It's been fun. I think he proved that vlog. Yeah, it took a while. It was fun, playing that game, but I'm kind of done pretending like he's going to lose matches just because it was a thing. He could easily win this match. I don't think that's bad to say. I think that Rachel could also easily win this match. It's just, I think, going to be a slugfest. And I think a lot of it will come down to the live feel of the room. And I would hope that because Rachel's a face, more people are going to be cheering for her, but Mike definitely has his fans. So I know that Rachel tends to feed off the positive energy. So I'm just kind of hoping that the crowd is positive for her. And there's a lot of support, because that'll help her kind of keep her nerves down for the live setting. And I do think Rachel's going to win, because I always think Rachel's going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mike did. And I just think that it's going to be a good match, regardless of who wins. So I want to get you guys' quick opinions. Malcolm, who do you think's winning, Cushing or Kalinowski?
Yeah, it's really hard to go against Rachel, and I'm going to have to do it this time. Mike wants that belt back, and he's proven that he's determined. So if, I do think Mike could pull off the upset, but I'm saying that like Rachel's determined to keep the belt, so it's going to be really interesting. They're both determined.
Yeah, I just think this could be one of the best matches we've had this year. It's been a year of best matches of the year, and this could be it. Honestly, this could be my number one at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised. Matt, what are your opinions here? Who do you think's winning?
Well, my first thing here is the dictionary definition for upset is a verb that is making someone unhappy or disappointed. How could Mike Kalinowski win the Geekdom belt upset anyone? I mean, come on, guys. Mike, I adore Rachel. She's in my top 5 competitors. Mike is in my top 3. I think this is a case of, I said it before Mike's match against Kevin, I'll say it here again. Mike wants that belt back. I know from just speaking with him, since he's a friend of mine, which is so weird that I'm able to say things like that, but he wants it more than the team's belt, more than singles. The Innergeekdom belt, there's something about how much work he's put in, what he's done behind the scenes for the league. Like, he just wants all of that belt, and I think that Rachel is amazing, and she's shown time and time again how great of a competitor she is. But I think it's just one of those things where I think Mike has just been prepping and preparing, and I think Mike's gonna walk away with it. And I think Mike's also gotten to a point to where the boos don't really affect him. Maybe yeah. So I think Mike's gonna take that belt at San Diego. It's gonna be a hell of a match. Like it's gonna be incredible. I bet. It's gonna be well worth whatever money you have to pay to see it.
100%. 100%. I think that this is going to be such a good match. I cannot wait. I honestly just want to watch this match now. But we have to wait. We didn't talk about the cutscenes. I thought that the only one, well, they were both great because one of them was Kaiser and he's hilarious. But the Bibiani and Brendan Meyer cutscene, they're officially a team now.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big deal. What their name?
Honestly, I thought that was already a thing when
I
he
made
popped up
them
after
a picture. I just, I made them a picture. I feel like that's going to be their team name.
Kristen just wants to take credit for it.
Hey, you know what? I put that out before it was announced, so obviously, I'm the one who made that team happen. Christian saw that picture and he was like, "Oh, what a good idea! I'm going to make them a team."
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't want to say I'm the reason why Who's the Boss became a thing, but Christian Harlow was looking at Ben Bateman and Mark Brown and Tom Daniel was like, maybe these three things should go together because
let's just make Matt real happy and just mash all of Matt's loves together into one team.
No, first, like, let's tear Matt's love apart, then put it all back together in the better way.
Let's just put it back together in different ways. You know what? No, I can't say those things because you know what Harlow's going to do now? He's going to be like, what am I going to do? I'm going to break up Who's the Boss. I'm going to make Riley retire again, and Bateman's going to lose his left arm.
You know, the thing about the Schmoedown is Matt can't be too happy ever. That is like the subtitle of the Schmoedown, movie trivia Schmoedown. I'm sorry, people. She joked,
make Matt sad. If you follow from when the show began and you just track
there's been many
when I get really the peaks and valleys I've had in the Schmoedown are
he's cried a lot. Let's just put that out there.
Let's just say if you go back to when we first did top 10 teams and see how many of them are still existing. It's the opposite of what K2SO said. It's small. Very small.
Where's Billy in the chat to defend?
Oh my God, Alfred! Cool guy says justice for Kearns.
All right, guys. So that's all we got to talk about this week. There was a lot to talk about, obviously, but next week I have a feeling there will be more to talk about. So let's do our plugs and get the heck out of here. Abe, thanks for joining us. Would you like to talk about your bongo?
You can follow me at AbrahamMatt25 on Twitter, and I don't have any rhythm because this is not a bongo. It's to say popcorn, but it's supposed to be a bongo.
For someone who's been practicing the bongo the whole show, I thought you might be a little bit better at it, but
maybe he needs to take lessons from Roker.
Yeah, you need to get some top 10 show. All right, Malcolm, where can we find you, buddy?
I mean, I'd say the last few weeks have been make Chris Clark cry, but
he's not Robert Burnett, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I'd say that you can find me on Take 3 Productions hosting Rankin every Sunday night. This week's topic is top 12 Disney live action movies, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You can also find me hosting Full Metal Random every week, except this week because I'm taking a break from it and do it. But we'll be back next week volunteered. You can find me competing in all over the things, and Future Shock, Team Thomas will defeat you. So
perfect. Matt, where can we find you?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress, and right here hosting Second Look, and sometimes doing Schmoedown reactions, sometimes hosting some with Kristen Neesby, but mostly you guys can find me watching our sponsor, Creed 2, on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital.
Man, I wish we had a sponsor. We don't get enough views to have a sponsor.
Guys, if you know anyone, like, you know what? No, not sponsors. Someone in comments on the Facebook, tweet at us. If you would give us money on Patreon, tell us, and we will set up a Patreon with the craziest tiers. We will come up with the most insane tiers. and I want to see who will pay for them. Like, one of the
Matt
tiers
will
can
release his Facebook video read of the Armageddon script.
We
Oh
also being
god,
sponsored by Uno. Fun game for everyone.
oh,
All
god,
right.
please.
So you can
If you
find
guys sponsor enough money, Kristen and John will bring me back into their family.
it's true. He can move in with us and be our son again.
No.
John says no. There's apparently not money in the world,
Fuck you,
Matt. I'm very
Dad.
sorry.
Please, money into the situation.
Here's the child
Um,
support you owe me.
Billy asked in the chat, what tier is it when Matt sends you a Blu-ray?
Yay.
$100 million. Are you
Yeah,
willing
guys,
to
I-
have that kind of patronage, Billy?
If I have any, I actually have multiple copies of Man of Steel on Blu-ray, so I can give you one of those. The digital copies are probably finished, but I can send you a Blu-ray of Man of Steel.
All right, you can find me as always trying to rein this mess in on the summit every week. If you don't know what we're watching, it's the summit where we talk about it's basically whose line is it anyway. The everything is made up and none of it matters. Yeah, that's really
Got a
sad.
point.
It's true. You can also find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Smith_K10, the number, not the word. And I don't post anything on Stardust, but you can still find me there. It's cool. I got a really funny Stardust on Stardust review. Anyway, that's all we got. So thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you guys all enjoy this upcoming Inner Geekdom match. And yeah, enjoy the Schmoedown, guys. Take care.